Hello everyone, it's Roxy. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm sorry for this video, that was a bit delayed. I was waiting to get a bit more used to the meta to make sure that I'm not saying like bullshit. But now I'm pretty confident with that, and also like I got a new mic, so it should be much more clear. At least my voice should be much more clear. So with the 1.8 patch, there was like a weapon balance and also the introduction of 2-star dungeons, which allow us to get access to some items that were previously very hard to access, the robe and the harvester boots. So yeah, let's go into it. Alright, so this was my previous build. Back then on the previous video I was running 2 black because I really enjoy the range and the attack speed on it. Whenever I moved to Carnix, this is the kind of in-between that I have done until this recent patch. So I moved to Carnix because it has this critical hit chance, it has higher base damage, and in the end when you fully charge a flash wave you reach the same maximum range, which is 30 meters, because you can't attack someone like more fast than 30 meters. It's like limited by the game. And this Carnix as well with the 11 strength was allowing me to get 60 strength and 60 perception. I think it's kind of a good balance because it gets you much more HP, so you're getting like much more tanky. But I don't want to talk too much about this build, since we have been getting the 1.8 and it brings access to some items that previously were difficult to access. And yes, I'm talking about the Swirling Essence Robe and the Shadow Harvester boots. So both we're gonna take. They are just good items. As a glass cannon DPS, we just want to maximize our damage, and for that having more heavy attack chance is just part of it. And the Swirling Essence Robe is the only item in tier 1 that has heavy attack chance on it. So it's no discussion, you just go for it. And then we move to the Shadow Harvester boots. The reason for that is just the stats. You have 5 perception, 8 strength. It's just good in terms of value, like you have 8 stats. It's not mandatory, you could probably like go for something else, but yeah, that was my choice to go for that. And then we have the Shock Commander Gauntlet. Previously we were using the Shadow Harvester gloves, but since we have our 2-piece bonus with bots and pants, yeah, we're just going for different gloves, and the Shock Commander have a good range, and on top of that you can add attack speed on it, which is pretty good because attack speed is actually increasing your casting speed. So basically like it's increasing your DPS. The quickest you cast, the more DPS you have basically. Then we changed the clock for the Relentless Assault clock because it has 7.5% range. I will say that it's not mandatory. It's kind of up to you. You have like a lot of choice here for the clock. I would say this is the only items that you can really flex into your guild, into your build. Sorry. The other option would be the Forsaken Embrace with max health, skill damage resistance, and debuff. It's gonna provide the clock alone 1300 max health, which is pretty good. You can run as well the Blessed Templar clock if you wanna try and run collision resistance. I wouldn't advise to run collision resistance overall, but if you want to run it, you just should go for this clock, because otherwise you will never get enough resistance to be effective against all the bow players that are usually on 60 perception. And on 60 perception, in theory, you have 300. You see here, like I have 300 collision chance when I have no collision chance in my build. This is just due to the perception. So if you don't have over 300 collision chance, it's not gonna be efficient. Like your resistance is gonna be nullified. It works like evasion. So yeah. So this will be like the only things that you can really flex. You can even go back to the deadite clock if you want. It's good because it has critical hit chance and hit chance, so you're just gonna have even more critical hit chance. In here we have 950, which is like pretty good. We have 1000 hit chance, same, very good. We're just losing a bit of stat because it's a blue item, but it's not like crazy like in terms of loss. And just as a comparison here, if we have like 19.39, it doesn't take the 9% of the Carnix though. And if we put the Relentless, we get 20.59, so we get how much? 79 centimeter. It's not crazy. Right, then there is this necklace. This came up 2 patches ago actually. This is a necklace that you can get with arenas. I think since we are removing the swirling, not swirling, since we replaced the hit chance chest by this chest, we are losing quite a lot of hit chance, so I compensate with the IC necklace of strength, and overall like it has very good stats, 500 max health, hit chance and strength, just very good. You can still play this one eventually if you prefer, still a good option, and you have even more stats. So yeah, it's up to you. You're just gonna lose a bit of magic chance here, but yeah, hit, sorry, but yeah, right. I will just go back to this build here. Cool. Yeah, and yes, let's cover up more or less everything quickly on the trade for each item. Obviously, like both weapons gonna have hit chance, heavy attack chance, and critical hit chance. The helmet gonna have max health and buff endurance. The robe gonna have the endurance, magic endurance. We're not gonna take melee endurance because it's pointless. We're not gonna stack enough anyway. And we're gonna have buff duration and mana regen. This one gonna have attack speed, melee endurance. I put actually maybe like could eventually like remove this and go for melee endurance because it's like 360 here, 320. We could try. I don't think it's as much value, but yeah, I would just probably like go for mana regen here, and maybe here you just go for health regen. Why not, you know? And then for the harvester pant we get both endurance and mana regen, and boots we get move speed and buff endurance. And then for the accessories, it's pretty straightforward. You go for max health, skill damage boost or resistance, and buff duration or debuff duration. Except for the band of universal power because it doesn't have max health, so you just go for mana regen. Right, and then like just a little variant here, in case you don't want to play the Umbra but the Talus Staff, because it's actually pretty good versus Greatsword due to the passive. And it has a very good critical hit chance on it, 214. You could do like something like that basically. And even like the leg clock. And here we are, we have 1100 hits, critical hit chance base, very solid. Very solid. We might just be like this, it's all fitting. It's perfect. So yeah, this could be like another variant if you feel like you are often being doomed by the Greatsword. Cool, that cover up the update gear for the 1.8. Obviously, like, feel free to play whatever. Now I will just give like one little extra note. Right now there is like a bug with endurance because what happened with the new patch is they removed the shield, devoted shield bow passive, which was when you get weakened you have a chance to proc a shield, And now this shield just proc whenever your HP go under 30%, you have a 6k HP shield. And it says, I think it has like 1 minute cooldown. And because of that, it kind of bring back a lot of weekend build. Like every dagger user gonna be using either poison or the lightning poison, the thunderstorm they call it, and they're gonna reduce your endurance. But on top of that, so one person can apply 20 stacks, which is 400 endurance less, so it's a lot. It almost nullify your actual endurance, and it basically gonna nullify your bow passives that give you endurance for each party member. But on top of that, there is a bug where this is per player. So basically, like you can have 20 stack from one player plus another 20 stack for another player, etc., etc. So basically, like you're gonna get negative endurance, and you're gonna just take insane damage. So just be aware of that. And for this reason, for both reasons actually, for the bug reason and the fact that we can build our back on the menu and probably gonna completely like remove your endurance at this 400 once it's gonna be fixed, the bug. You could alternatively go for evasion. So instead of running endurance on your pieces, you're gonna run evasion. In many cases, it's not gonna be enough evasion. However, with your what's the name, victorious energies, that's gonna increase your evasion by 460 for a good 15 seconds. You should be able to get around 1500 evasion, both range and magic, which is again someone that has 1000 hits. It's around 1 attack out of 3 that you're gonna evade. So it's an alternative that you can go for if you feel that endurance is not anymore working for you. Right now it's difficult for me to tell you if it's work or not because of the bug. So basically like everyone is wrecking your endurance like crazy, so it just doesn't make sense to say if it's the way to go now or not. But yeah, cool. Alright, for the skill and skill specialization, I will start with a passive. I have been removing asceticism and replace it with steady aim for the extra crit chance on targets that are bound. The reason for that is asceticism uptime was too low when I was watching my VOD. It was a bit tricky to stand still for 3 seconds, so I just removed it. This has a higher value, higher uptime. And I kept Devoted Shield, and the 6000 HP when you drop under 30% is very big. It has 1 minute cooldown. Yeah, it's pretty much the time that you have time to reset and come back into a fight, and it's gonna proc quite often. It's pretty good. And then I ran still like a quick barrier, but you could as well change for flame condensation if you don't get too much focused by shadow strike. So basically like it's gonna be mostly like a great sword and X-bow, maybe some staff and bow daggers user, but not too sure about that. So it's a bit up to you. You can flex this thing. Everything else is similar to what I had before. As for the active, everything is similar, but I have been doing some change in the skill specialization. Previously I was using the consecutive use for strafing. I removed it and I'm using Gale now, and I'm using the damage increase on Zephyr. So what happened is you do 2 strafing, it's gonna be 8 stacks of Gale into Zephyr knock, and the Zephyr knock gonna consume the 8 stack of Gale, and for each stack you're gonna deal an extra 25% base damage plus 12. So in total it's gonna be 200% more base damage plus how much, like 96 or something like that. So it's a big chunk of damage on top of your Zephyr knock. I have been testing that. It does on average like 1500 to 2000 damage, so it's pretty good. And then here this didn't change. However, like since now we can more easily use a weekend because there is not anymore this devoted shield that was broken before, like where like if you apply a weekend on the bow player, it has a chance to get like a shield. So you could run this blind on the flash wave. It has the chance to reduce the hit chance for from your targets. So it's a massive. Imagine like you remove 300 hit chance from a whole army because flash wave cover up like a lot of range. Yeah, it's just very good. You will just have to find like 5 points somewhere else. In my situation, I think we're gonna keep it more on healers that are being bow wand because they just gonna do it instead of us, so we can just focus more on damage. But definitely, like you could play it and perhaps find 5 points somewhere else, for example here. But let's continue on that. Here, I don't think anything changed really. I think previously I was using the 2 damage transfer on chain lightning, but I removed the damage transfer that doesn't mitigate the damage to use a burning. So I'll apply more burning stack with my Inferno Wave. And I have like a staff combo that I really enjoy doing lately. I will show you now. So basically you are gonna start with Icebound Tomb and you're gonna focus, you're gonna follow up with a Focus Firebomb into Inferno Wave, into Judgment Lightning. So you have this, you charge, and this combo is like a lot of damage. I have been killing a lot of people doing that. Like you find a good target in a small clump, like another Liberator maybe because they have not too much evasion, and you just burst them this way. And I assure you that I would say like 8 out of 10 times you're gonna kill the target plus the target around, except if that time could be sleep. But yeah, so I will do it again. We are going on this. If I know wake, I have a double proc. And as you can see, it was like a lot of damage. Yeah, going back to spell. But eventually what you could do as well, you can just remove the chain damage here. And it's gonna be like a single target, but it's fine, and go for the blind. So like you're gonna apply 6 second blind hit chance minus 300 on all the target hit by each flash wave, which is pretty good as well. Cool, that's pretty much it for the GVG build. Now I will just show you quickly what I'm using for PvE, because last time I didn't really cover it up. So I'm bringing back asceticism instead of the shield. I don't really need the shield for that. I also remove actually like change something. But this we don't need really. So let's go like for the shield. It can save you some time. We don't need the endurance in PvE really. So we're gonna run this. We have the flame condensation, the asceticism, and as for the active spell, this is what I'm running. There are some stuff that you can change. Let me show you here in terms of skill spec what I'm using. So we have again the strafing with Gale and the Zephyr Knot with both damage increase and cooldown. Basically what happened, I will just show you quickly. Here you have like 8 stack each and you consume and you see like a half cooldown back on Zephyr, and you did an extra 200% damage on the targets. Let me show you again quickly once this is back. 1, 2, and here we had like a 6, I think it was 6300 plus 2000, so pretty good. I'm using the decisive bombardment with the decisive bombardments. This is just because I use this build both for like grind, the open general grind, or like boss, but you could as well just remove this and eventually like put it into this. I'm using the Whirlpool attribute on Natural Blessing plus the challenging time on the decisive. What it does is just allow you to cast quicker. here, like you can see, like it's casting a bit quicker. It's not mandatory, but I just use it this way. You could as well just remove this and this, and you get back 6 points that you can put somewhere else, whatever like you prefer. Maybe even like on here, and maybe like on here, for example. And then like for the staff, this is what I'm using. We don't use victorious energy because we don't need more hit or evasion in PvE. I have the ice storm again. This is something that I use when I'm farming open world dungeons, so I kind of pack mobs, use ice storm, so everything is bound, and I cast like a fire bomb plus the decisive bombardment, and usually like they're just dead. Then we have the chain lightning with the thunder lightning because it just mobs are quite static usually. So especially like boss, so it's just like a AoE on the floor that's gonna do more damage. Now, if you are really like just building for boss, you can definitely like remove all of this because you're not gonna need AoE damage, and you can put it else, like I don't know, like here. You can put even like more strafing if you want. It's really up to you. It's like very flexible, and I'm not really PvE Chad. I'm just doing whatever I need to do in PvE. Right now, like I'm bursting down the 2-star dungeon without any difficulty, so yeah, it's kind of up to you. I don't wanna cover this too long, to be honest. And that's cover up everything for the skills. Let's take a look quickly at the masteries. For the bow, we're obviously going for brutal shooter. This is the priority for the critical damage 10%. And once you get your 10 here, you can just go to get the spellbreaker and get the 80 skill damage resistance. Now, if you are doing PV, maybe you want just to get this instead of this. You're gonna have a bit more cooldown speed, a bit more mana regen as well. Like if by chance you don't really need, but yeah, it's kind of up to you. And as for the staff, I'm using the middle one that has a cooldown speed, and then I'm using the burning chance here for just a bit more burning damage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It covers everything, I think. Lastly, the Guardian, it didn't change since last time. Basically, I still have the same opinion on Guardian. This is my PvE Guardian, this is my PvP Guardian. I know some people like to use Lady Knight. It can be a good shield to tank 1 or 2 flash wave on the push or stuff like that, but I just don't like the idea of using Guardian just to tank 1 flash wave. Or like, let's say like any damage really, like it's we have actually 8.6 thousand mana, so we have like a shield for 4.3 thousand, which is not crazy as for like a 10-minute cooldown. So I rather find like efficiency using the Pal Nemesis or the Shade Revenants depending on the situation. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope it's gonna be useful. Yeah, again, like it took a bit of time to do this video because I wanted to be a bit more aware of the meta, and obviously like there were like some change. One major change was the comeback from the weekend meta, so you're gonna see much more daggers using poison and thundercloud, and you're gonna see a lot of more damage overall because of that, because endurance is gonna be shreked by those daggers users. And yes, for me, I will keep doing video about Liberator, like guides and stuff like that, but I'm moving to Spellblade, which is staff daggers. I'm a former staff daggers user, and I just wanna be back to this class as well. I'm gonna be more focused on small scale and arena, and I think staff dagger for that is just better overall. Cool. Have a good day, and don't hesitate to ask your question in comments. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.